in and do a quick little update about what we are going to expect over the next couple of days. We've seen some scattered showers out there throughout the day, primarily rain down in the valleys and snow at our highest elevations. But that is going to change as we head into the middle parts of this week. So we'll give it, say, 30 seconds or so, maybe a minute, and we'll get going in this update in more fullness than that. So I'm going to spin this back around, show you those current conditions out across western Montana, and overall it is pretty quiet out there, but we are again seeing some spotty showers here and there. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So yeah, give me just about a minute here, and I'll make sure everything is running like it's supposed to. But as you're tuning in, certainly let us know where you're watching from this evening, and are you ready for some warmer temperatures? Very much more spring-like weather, which we guess we are already seeing with the rain. But if you've liked this little bit of a warm-up, we're going to see even greater levels of warming into the middle parts of this week. So overall, I believe everything is running smoothly. Again, normally it is, but sometimes it's a little tricky to make sure everything is. But I think we're in good shape. Just getting one thing pulled together real quick, and then we'll get started in this, like I said, more fully. All right. See a couple of you are working your way in, but again, thank you all for taking the time out to watch this update for our weather. And if you have any questions or comments as we go throughout this, certainly feel free to ask those in the chat section. So as for today, again, we've been dealing with some spotty showers after the storm system that brought us the heavy snow up in our mountains this past weekend, caused some big time travel impacts on Interstate 90 over towards Lookout Pass, primarily on the Idaho side of the pass, with it shut down for quite a while. People stuck on the interstate overnight in some cases, but with that heavy snowfall up in our mountains. But since then, we've seen those snow levels rising, and like I was saying a moment ago, up over 7,000 feet for most of the day today, and that's going to continue to be the case overnight tonight. Then we may see those drop down just a little bit. Now, we are still looking at very mild temperatures, even now that we're at 9 o'clock in the evening. It's 49 in Kalispell, 47 in Butte, 51 for Bozeman, and 53 in Missoula. Wind still a little bit breezy, upwards to about 18 miles per hour there in Butte, but we've seen those gusts as high as 30 to 45 miles per hour in southwest Montana throughout the day. Overall, those should continue to calm down overnight tonight. Now, with the warming temperatures, there is one issue we're dealing with when it comes to our weather, and that is for places like the East and West Cabinets, the Selkirk Mountains, as well as into the Whitefish, Swan Ranges and Glacier National Park. We have avalanche warnings that continue through at least tomorrow morning. And the reason for that is we saw the heavy snow this weekend up in this part of the state. Then we transitioned from the heavy snowfall to those warming temperatures, snow levels up above 7,000 feet in some cases, and then we had rain on top of that. So that makes for a very unstable snowpack when you get rain on top of heavy snow, and on top of that, we're also been dealing with the winds. So avalanche dangers in the backcountry still remain on the high side, especially in northwest Montana. We'll see if those are extended into Tuesday, or if those will be allowed to expire into tomorrow morning. But still, even if they do expire, avalanche danger is going to remain high for the next couple of days with these warming temperatures. Now, jumping into radar really quick, we've seen this west to east motion. You notice how pretty much everything is green on the map except for in a few very isolated areas. And zooming in, I'll bring it all down in here towards the Swan Range, where you're finally starting to see some of the pinks and whites showing up, again, right on those mountain peaks. So most of the snow that we're seeing is still above 7,000 feet. Down in our valleys, it is all rain. Overall, it's relatively light rain, though a few moderate, showers are in there. I'll look back over here. Just across the state line and south of US 12, you're seeing that little area of dark green and yellow. Again, shows you there's some patches of moderate rainfall out there, and more of this back into parts of southeastern Washington that's going to be moving west to east across our area. And Future Tracker has done a pretty solid job on picking up the scattered nature of this activity, but also those snow levels remaining quite high. Most of the rainfall that we will see tonight will be west of the divide, though a few showers down towards Bozeman, Interstate 90, Whitehall, Townsend, that area. It can't be ruled out, but the higher chances of that will be back to the west, likely looking at some scattered rainfall towards Kalispell, Missoula, Polson, maybe even towards Hamilton through early tomorrow morning, maybe even closer into sunrise. This is looking around 7 a.m., especially areas north of Interstate 90 will have that best chance for some light rainfall into tomorrow morning, except for down here towards Bozeman where you are seeing a little bit more of that as well. But by the time we get to, say, 11 o'clock tomorrow, noon time frame, these showers become very spotty in nature. That ridge of high pressure really starts to take control, and you see the clearing that takes place for much of our region, and that's going to help the temperatures climb into Tuesday afternoon, but also into Wednesday. As you see, we're looking at really mostly clear to partly cloudy skies for Wednesday afternoon. Some high clouds hanging on and sliding through the area, and that's sort of in association with our next storm system that'll be arriving late Wednesday and into Thursday. But the reason for the showers today, we've seen this west to east flow on the north side of the ridge that's taking shape to the south. But you notice how that's lifting northward. That's going to center itself over our region, again, late tomorrow evening, but more so into Wednesday. But zooming out a little bit further, you see another trough of low pressure. So this warm-up that we're going to see from the ridge of high pressure is going to be relatively short-lived. The trough behind it is going to bring more active weather for the latter parts of this week, and this is going to bring us back down more typical to normal. But I do want to look at the temperature tracker for the next couple of days. We saw highs today in the 50s. Tomorrow we're talking low to mid 60s for most, if not all of western Montana, West Yellowstone excluded from that. Then we go into Wednesday, we're talking upper 60s in many areas and some low 70s. Wednesday does look like the warmest day of the next 7, because by the time we get into Thursday, still above average by about, say, 10 to 15 degrees, but those temperatures do start to cool as a cold front rolls in, and then by the time we get into Friday, temperatures right back to near average there in the upper 40s and low 50s. So then that's really where it looks like we're going to stay into the early parts of next week. So going back to Wednesday, and I'm just going to jump to the next graphic, but again, you see 60s and 70s area wide, and looking at that in more detail, there will be the potential for some record high temperatures to either be tied or broken on Wednesday. Looking at those highs again, Kalispell 65, Missoula 72, Butte at 69 degrees, and Bozeman at 66. Missoula and Butte, at least of our four biggest cities in our region, Missoula and Butte have the best chance of tying, if not breaking, those records. Right now, the forecast for Missoula 72 matches that old record back in 1946, while Butte's high forecast of 69 degrees would significantly break that record of 64 degrees from 1997. Kalispell, Bozeman, you're about between 3 and 5 degrees short of breaking or tying those records, but we are within range, as models have been actually trending a little bit warmer the last few days. We could be closer to those old records of 68 and 70 than what the forecasts are showing today. So we're keeping it low right now, but Kalispell, Bozeman, you're going to be close enough to at least be within touching distance of those old records. And if Kalispell does tie that record, take a look at the date on that, 1899. So an over 126-year-old record that Kalispell is at least approaching into Wednesday. But then again, we cool back down into Thursday as our precipitation chances start to go up. Now, Wednesday, I think is going to be the driest day of the next 7, but there is one note to that, and I'll explain why here in just a second. Late Wednesday into Thursday, we could see some showers roll through the area, but Thursday and Friday have the better chances of initially rain, and I think for most of our valleys it should stay as rain, but we could see some windows, especially as we get into Saturday morning, of some snowfall getting closer down to valley floors during the early morning hours. as those snow levels drop back down just a little bit. During the afternoons, it should stay as rain. But going into the other part of this, and this is going to be looking at a severe thunderstorm outlook. You know, haven't had to do this since September of last year. Tuesday, we're quiet. Wednesday, for the most part, we are quiet, but there is this light green. This is that non-severe general thunderstorm threat. But you notice right here towards places like Knoxon, Heron, Trout Creek, Lookout Pass, there is an isolated marginal threat for some severe thunderstorms. Most of that should stay back into Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, but we could be talking winds with those storms anywhere from 50 to perhaps as high as 70 miles per hour further off to the west, and that just gives you the sense of how strong the low pressure system that is off the coast right now is going to roll in. Now, again, this is going to be late Wednesday night, so this may even be more into early morning hours of Thursday, because with the severe weather outlooks, those end at 6 a.m. the next day. So like the Wednesday outlook really runs from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. It's kind of weird how that is. But overall, just be prepared Wednesday into Thursday. Not expecting, widespread thunderstorm activity, but an isolated rumble of thunder. I won't rule that out. And then we could see that again Thursday afternoon as that low pressure system more fully gets in. And I'll show you essentially what our more mid-range forecast models are showing. And that's going to be right here with our regional travel tracker. You see this is Wednesday about midday. You see the rain back here along the I-5 corridor from Seattle back down through Portland and areas south from there. It's as we get into Wednesday night and Thursday, you see these little storms blow up here across northeast Oregon and Idaho. They don't look like much on radar, but as we've seen in the past, it doesn't take a whole lot of, necessarily bright colors to cause big problems. And this is going into early parts of Thursday morning, and we see that start to roll into parts of northwest and west central Montana. Again, not expecting significant storms by any means, but for at least this time of the year, some rumbles of thunder are possible. And we'll see more of that system roll through into Thursday afternoon, and this will probably give us our best chance for maybe some slightly stronger storms. Still not expecting severe weather here, but really from Missoula south into southwest Montana, we'll have that best window for some heavier rainfall at times with that Thursday activity. It moves off pretty quickly. Then we see the next wave roll in for Friday. This is the point where those snow levels begin to start falling back down to around 4,500 to 5,000 feet during the afternoon. Could start to see some minor pass accumulations, I think, as we get into Friday evening and Saturday, especially across southwest Montana. We've got plenty of time to watch this, potentially even a low pressure system. You notice how this area begins to lift northward. That low pressure system tracking just a little bit further to the south. A little bit more cool air gets wrapped around the backside of this, and maybe even the chance for a little bit better chances of some lighter accumulations towards, say, Butte. I think Bozeman may be still in that rain-snow mix, but we're still talking 5-6 days out in some cases with that storm. So we have plenty of time to watch it. Showers build back up for Saturday, and then Sunday, other than a spotty shower here or there, it starts to quiet down. But we're looking at another system for the early parts of next week. So long story short, got the showers out there now. High pressure builds in for Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday being quite warm for this time of the year, anywhere from 15 to 25 degrees above average. And then we see those temperatures start to cool back down. More active weather arrives initially Wednesday night and into Thursday, but I think more so Thursday afternoon and into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday all the way in from there. Where we're going to be dealing with that active weather. But overall, after we get past Wednesday, we're going to be tracking back into more of a wetter than average and cooler than average type of pattern, which is more typical for a La Nina year. We are still technically in La Nina. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just be prepared for active weather to continue. Make sure to have the rain gear, and if you have any plans up over, travel plans over mountain passes, especially later on this week, certainly stay tuned to the forecast as we could be dealing with at least some accumulations of snow right now. Maybe not necessarily a major storm system, but something we'll have to keep an eye on. So again, this is going to be the last call for questions. If you have any of those or any comments about the storm system and the warm temperatures, we could be looking at records for really northwest and west central Montana specifically. Well, I say that, and then I should talk about Butte. So really, Wednesday, just be prepared for some potential record highs before we cool back down. So again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. I hope you continue to have a great Monday evening. Tune into our live broadcast coming up here in about 45 minutes. We'll have the latest news updates, as well as I'll be here live with the latest weather updates as well. And then, of course, tomorrow morning, NBC Montana Today with Chief Meteorologist Brooke Foster and Jason Hurst starting at 5 a.m. And then as we get into tomorrow afternoon, we'll take a look at another round of forecast models about not only the high temperatures for Wednesday and those potential records, but also that storm threat that we may see for Wednesday night and Thursday. Again, it's a little bit early in the season for us talking about severe weather here in western Montana, but just over the border or over the state line over in Idaho, there is a better chance of that. So also another one of those, if you have travel plans on Wednesday back into Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, just be aware there could be some pretty strong winds with those storms between maybe 50 and 70 miles per hour, in addition to a little bit of lightning out there. So, all right, well, I think we're going to wrap this up. If you have any photos or videos of how you're enjoying the warm temperatures the next couple of days, or even the storms over the last couple of days, the snowfall we saw this weekend, certainly feel free to share those with us at nbcmontana.com/chime in, and I will see you all on the next one. I'll likely be back again for at least a short update tomorrow evening, likely sometime around the same period. So have a great evening. I'll see you all on the next one. With NBC Montana, I'm meteorologist Mitchell Coombs.